If you knew me in high school, you'd probably be wondering, why would I take advice from a delinquent like you? Well, I'd probably be thinking the same if it wasn't for this one particular book. And no, I'm not talking about John Steinbeck's East of Eden. However, this is an incredible book. Today, we're going to be looking at the book that genuinely changed my life. Now, cliches aside, when people say, oh, this changed my life, that changed my life, when I say this changed my life, I genuinely mean it. I dropped out of university for this. I have changed the course of my life just through following principles established in this book. And you know what? You can very well do the same and do better. I'm 100% honest when I say that anything I have achieved is due to the principles and what I've read in this book, and that is 100% true. No bullshit. This book has stood the test of time. It was published in 1925 and is still regarded as one of the top books, along with Mr. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is gold. And I promise you, if you read this and apply it, it will change your life too. You can do whatever you want in this world. I promise. Now, enough of me sounding like a sleazy car salesman. Let's get into it. The book we're looking at today is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Mr. Napoleon Hill. Like I said, was published in 1925. This has covered over 25 years of an analysis of the richest and the poorest people he has run into, what their traits of success were, and these principles to follow. I'm not going to spoil the entire book for you, but I'm going to put down my 5 favorite chapters in this book as fast as I possibly can, so you're not bored out of your mind. But I promise you, follow through with this. You're going to love what's in it. The first topic we have is desire. Now, desire is how bad do you want what you say you want? In life, a lot of people say, oh, I want to be rich. I want to be good at sport. I want to do this. But in reality, these are wants. They're not desires. A burning desire is like a pot of boiling water under your ass. If you fall in, you're fucked. But if you climb through, that's actually a terrible analogy. A desire, in my experience, is waking up thinking about that. Going to sleep thinking about that. And waking up during the night thinking about that. Being stressed. Are you going to make it? How bad do you want it? What's your desire? Does it burn in your heart? I have recommended this book to some of my friends who are now musicians, who are now successful musicians and on their way up to being world stars. And that's not bullshit. How bad do you desire what you say you want? Think about it. Now, this book will get you to write down a list of what you want, when you're going to get it, how you're going to get it, and what are you going to give in exchange to get it. This will be a time when you can reflect on, is this something that I really, really want? Think about a time in life where you wanted to achieve something, even if it's minute, if it's a small, minor win. What did you put in to get that result that you wanted? And how bad did you want it? If you reflect on that, the same can be exponentially blown up and you can achieve anything genuinely just with a burning desire. Not some pussy ass, I want it, I don't want it. You need to want it more than anything in this world. I've made sports teams, I've made university achievements. I've done a lot of things just because of this principle alone. And I'm not here to boast, but I am here to give you a template of how you can follow this too. This book is like 90 years old, but it's still 100% applicable to this day. The second principle this focuses on is faith. Now, coming from a religious background myself, faith is something that I've always understood and I honestly believe in. However, I've also seen it firsthand in a different twist in life. My sister came 5th in the world for her respective sport, I believe at the age of 14 or something like that. My mom used to get her to visualize for an hour before, after training, these kind of things. Visualize her success, her winning, her going through the steps of how she's gonna get it, her routine, whatever it was. She would visualize this, creating faith in your mind as you reinforce and bring to light in your mind how you're gonna do something. Guys, don't skimp out on faith. If you don't believe me, look into placebo research. People who just take a pill who think it's going to do something still increase sometimes up to 13%. You know what 13% is? 13% of a million, 10% of a million is $100,000. I'm pretty sure you'd want $100,000, but 10% of $100, $10. You know, if you scale things, it's big. It's very, very big. So don't look at it lightheartedly. 10% change just because of faith. It's incredible. Visualize. Faith talks about how can you visualize your success. Do you see yourself as a winner? When you carry yourself in the street, do you see yourself as a champion, as whatever you want to be, as successful? I'm gonna sound like a little narcissist, but when I wake up, I feel like a king. I might not physiologically feel like a king, but mentally, I know my success is placed a year or two down the line, 3 years in the line, and no matter what, it will come. But how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about faith? because I promise you need to start challenging that, reinforcing your mind with the right types of faith. Have faith that you're going to make it, and this coexists with desire. If you desire something bad enough, faith will take over. The third principle is imagination, and imagination, just like faith, is more or less the same thing. Can you imagine yourself in the position to reap the rewards of what you want? Do you have the imagination of, I can do this? How am I going to do it? Can you picture it in your mind? Are you waking up and reinforcing it? That's pretty much the same thing, so I don't have to cover it too much, but that's imagination. And to me, that's just as powerful as faith because they coexist. They are two cohesive little friends. The fourth principle, and arguably my favorite from the entire book, is persistence. The reason why persistence, in my opinion, is so valuable in every walk of life is because everyone struggles, everyone faces problems, but how can you overcome them through persistence? To give you guys a rundown on why I believe persistence is arguably the most important factor out of this book is due to the fact that everything in life will beat you down potentially. Persistence is looking at those failures and the defeats and deciding you're going to see it as an obstacle that you can learn from. Everyone at some point has faced failure, and you will continuously face failure throughout your life, whether it's emotional failure, physical failure, or spiritual failure. You will face failure. Persistence is that key word, the key term that's gonna differentiate how you look at something. Listen, in everything in life, people have a choice to roll over in self-loathe and whelm in self-pity, or you can decide, okay, I have lost, I'm in defeat, I'm feeling these bad emotions, but you know what? I'm going to persist because the reward at the end is so much greater. I know in my life at least, persistence for me came in the form of defeat. Defeat to me was never seen as a bad thing. I would throw myself in the deep end and be prepared to get my ass kicked. I'm not sure if it came from the sports that I did or from my mentality, but all I know is that I continuously saw everything as a chance to learn. I'd throw myself completely in the deep ends of things and be prepared to lose. I would argue that a lot of persistence and the lack of persistence comes from a fear of failure. Actually, I'd almost say 100% of it is. People care about failing because it will show on their character. In my eyes, this never mattered. Why would I care what someone that I'm not going to know in 5 years thinks of my behavior, thinks of what I'm doing currently? They won't. They're not going to care. It's going to be a little minor memory in their mind, and that's it. So why focus on that when the outcome, the reward of building your character is so much greater potentially? This is why persistence is so key. In life, everything will beat you down, but it's your choice. How are you going to view it? If you persist, if you've got your vision and your mind set on something and you persist and you keep going, regardless of what's thrown at you, you will be successful, period. I think the reason that this chapter struck such a chord for me is because I've seen it in my own life and you can see it in everyone else's. Any person who is successful, you don't get rich or successful overnight. People who have this mindset are fixated on the short term. They are stuck in a rut. Ooh, I need this. Ooh, I need this. There's no long-term thinking. You need to view things objectively and long-term. No one makes overnight success. If I had to go through every little thing that I did to lead to success in sports, to lead to success in academics, everything, social, everything takes time. It's a craft. You have to learn to love the process. I used to hate that term because I don't need to love the process to enjoy my outcome, but you do, because the process can be so long that becomes the only thing you're left to love because it's the only thing you've built your faith on. But you know what? If you persist, I promise to you, you'll be successful. And the rewards that you get on the way, character development, skill development, people, come on, like it sells itself. Like I don't know how more clearly to put it across to you, but if you persist, you will get what you want in this world. And to me, that is why persistence is the utmost important principle in this book. You can probably tell that I speak from a place of passion when I talk about this book. This book has impacted me so profoundly. I didn't use too many examples in this video because I didn't want this to seem like I'm just being egotistical and running away on a narcissistic little field trip. I wanted this to be something that you could envision yourself and put your feet in those shoes. How can you imagine your dreams? How can you envision what you have? How can you develop your faith, and where can you persist? Because every person can do it. I promise you, if you're good at something and you love something, your passion will carry you a lot further than financial means. Because eventually you realize, okay, the material value of this money isn't actually that incredible to my well-being. There are people earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're not happy. Do you want to be that? I mean, yeah, you can cry in a Rolls Royce and feel cozy, you know, you're looking up at the stars, but at the same time, I would argue being happier in life and doing what you love, but having a large scale dream for it is so much more rewarding. I remember being 18 and reading this book and just thinking to myself, this is so true. Everything that I want, I just put my mind to it and I can get it. And it never deferred in my mind, and I didn't take the principles as literally or write them down, but that became my mentality. Was everything that I imagine and see myself in. And trust me, I used to daydream about my success. I would daydream about me in this, visualize me in this